This Raw Vision video is brought to you by Metro Solar, proud partner of the Richmond Football Club.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about what you're doing here today?
Yeah, so Dylan Grimes and myself are at the Alannah and Madeline Foundation headquarters, which is our main charity partner. And this week, round 16 versus Brisbane is going to be our round dedicated to the AMF Foundation. And just so happens that it's also the start of a great campaign, the Stand Up for Our Children. And it's just bringing awareness to the fact that over 1 million kids are exposed to domestic family violence at home. And often, more often than not, they're the silent victim in domestic violence. So it's just about standing up for what is right for little people who can't stand up for themselves. So the footy club does some great work, and this is just another example of another great partnership within the AFL.
The Tigers are pretty hands-on with what they do to help this foundation. It must be quite humbling for you guys to sort of get in and get your hands dirty, I guess. Yeah,
I guess the humbling part is hearing the stories. More often than not, Walter, who started this foundation, his story from Port Arthur, the massacre all those years ago with his little girls. That's probably the most humbling of the lot, but. We do some great work, but I think the best part is it exposes young players to the realities of some people's lives and the world, the outside world that we live in a bit of a bubble at times. So if we can give back, that's fantastic, and I think if we can grow from it, that's also a great benefit of the relationship.
So what exactly are you doing, Dan? There's a lot of bags in here. You're packing a few bags, eh? And what is the role?
I've brought Dylan down to pack some buddy bags. He's a real hands-on kind of guy. I got a bit of a stiff back. No, I'll be in there too. They're there for any kind of emergency. So families get displaced and kids haven't been able to take anything. There's a lot of emergency items. Some fun stuff, some kids relevant things. Because again, sometimes they're forgotten. Everyone thinks about the shelter, some of the big things, but little kids have got to have a youth, and this is just Alannah and Madeline are great providing these buddy bags and just giving a little bit of their childhood back in a pretty tough situation.
Do you find that this sort of relationship, something that you might not have thought of having not been involved in the things you're doing here?
Yeah, I've learned through 11 years at footy that you get such an opportunity to meet again and hear stories, but also have an influence. And Alannah and Madeline, the fact that it's been such a tight bond with the footy club is really, I think, it's helped them. I think with exposure, it's helped us, just improve our brand and AFL in general. The more clubs that do this kind of stuff, and I know a lot do, the better for us as players, for supporters, for the community at whole. So everyone's pushing really hard with this kind of stuff, and it certainly goes a long way.
You mentioned that you're back, but more so your hip, I guess, coming through the game. How did you go on the weekend?
Yep, slugged it out down in Morwell. It was a good little 2-hour bus trip down there, so that's why my back's a bit stiff. But no, I got through the game. We didn't get a win, but I got through unscathed and battled around to get my kicks. But hopefully did enough to get back in this week, although the boys had a good win, so it might be tough to squeeze back.
On that selection thing, you feeling comfortable, and when do you feel like you'll know whether you're a make-up in that squad?
Yeah, look, I'll put my hand up. I've pulled out well, so I just have to make sure I train well again, and the hip will be fine. As I said, just a matter of squeezing me back into the team, and hopefully I can be out there on Saturday against the Lions. But otherwise, I'll slug it out at Punt Road for the first time I think ever. So that'd at least be something.
What's the mood around the club after a win on the weekend?
Yeah, look, great to get a win. That's obvious. I guess the last month there's been a lot more positive in regards to the way we've attacked our footy, but this time to actually take 4 points away, a reward for effort, as the cliche goes. But we've still got a lot of work to do. But the best thing is we're on the right track now. We're going back to what we do best, and that's defending manically and attacking the ball as hard as we have in the last 12 months or since last year, when that's what we stood out for. So we've just got to stick to our guns and keep working at it.
Any win's important, but is the carrot of having back-to-back wins something that's significant this week?
Yeah, look, again, another 4 points. Another 4 points if it's back-to-back. That's fantastic. If we get that done, we'll go for 3 in a row. But I hate cliches, but 1 week at a time is literally where we're at the moment. We've just got to keep building that confidence back in. And as I said before, sticking to what we do well, because that's what the good teams do. They're consistent and they're predictable, and that's why they're hard to stop. So we need to make sure we're one of those sides going forward.
It's an interesting situation, isn't it? Because you can't beat your efforts of last year already. So it's really about setting down a marker for next season, or it's like the next season starts around now, or how are you treating the last sort of 8 games?
Probably not looking too far ahead. It's really at the moment, the first part of the year was the tough part. We had to face up to a lot of tough questions and look in the mirror a lot and make a few changes. But now it's just about improving the incremental improvements week in, week out. And if we can get back to the kind of football we were playing last year and then improve on that again, however long that takes, whether it's over the next 8 weeks, whether it's going into next year, we know we'll be better off for it. We've had to, as I said, we've had to face up to a lot of hard truths, and hopefully now we've got that out of the system, and that'll take us up to great things going forward.
What are those sort of hard truths you're talking about?
Oh, just as I said before, just sticking to what we do best. I think we probably tried to do a little bit too much at times. Players, we missed some guys with injury, so we're relying too much on other individuals stepping up. So we've got to start to spread the load a bit, develop our younger guys, get more out of our senior guys. And at the same time, just again, I keep saying it because it's the truth, we just need to stick to what we do best and not get too far off track.